explanation, let me explain this new procedure which we are introducing in terms of cognate bills. Cognate bills are bills which are related to each other in terms of subject matter and are presented to the Parliament for consideration. They can, however, be considered separately at any stage, especially at the second reading stage. Once this motion is agreed, the Attorney General moves the second reading motion and makes the second reading speech. The House will then be allowed to debate or consider the Bougainville Court Bill 2024 and the Bougainville Community Court Bill 2024 simultaneously. This will also allow the House to be consistent with Standing Order 74, which restricts anticipation of discussion on business or an order of the day listed in the notice paper to be considered separately. At the conclusion of the debate, second reading will be considered separately. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honourable members, the question is that the motion on the debate on cognate bills be agreed to. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Honourable members, I will allow the Attorney General to move the second reading motion on the Bougainville Court Bill 2024 and make the second reading speech, and then proceed to move the second reading motion on Bougainville Community Court Bill 2024 and make the second reading speech. Later, all members can debate on both bills simultaneously. And finally, I will put the question on the second reading motion separately. I call upon the Attorney General to proceed with the second reading motion and deliver your speech.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I move that the Bougainville Court Bill 2024 now be read a second time.
Minister, you have a speech to read?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, Madam Deputy Speaker. Let me place on record the great work that has preceded yesterday and today's occasion. There are people who have come in and gone, but there are people who also have remained, and that consistency in terms of effort has brought us to this historic day. And I make a mention to my predecessor, Honorable Willie Matthew. Mitok thank you, work. You make him also former Minister of Police, Justice and Correctional Service. Mitok thank you, long the entourage from the national government, law and justice sector. Me make him clear also, Madam Speaker, this work was never a one-year exercise or a two-year exercise. This has gone on for a couple of years. It is historic to me because this is the first time a Bougainville government has attempted at laying the foundations of an independent Bougainville Judiciary. That option had always been available to us when we had the autonomous government arrangements. However, it is a subject, I agree, that it must not be one that we think around with. Madam Speaker, you can play long or something, but if you mess up the judiciary, if you don't get it right in one go, you face a lot of major issues later on. Time you may come out long crisis. I tell you, people were hungry for justice. the human rights abuses that had occurred, that people suffered, up until today, man Mary cry, lopainin peace na true justice. This is a first step towards addressing some of these issues. Me digress, Madam Deputy Speaker. When time service has been held back, I was selected to be a member of the Human Rights Committee that came and got instructions from the victims. Now, when I filed those court actions in the National Court, despite an explicit express instructions from late Seburi Kidu as the Chief Justice, that the process would be expedited in terms of the human rights issues. At the first go, when the matters were brought before the judge just struck it out. Let me strike him out and I talk. And in the National Court rules and other relevant processes, you can only initiate proceedings through an originating summons and a writ of summons. There are no shortcuts. And those human rights issues have remained unanswered to this day. I hope that not only by way of this legislation, but also through the work of the Bougainville Constitutional Planning Commission, that space and time is made available for some of these issues to be revisited. Me make him clear. Me no like break more, me digress I'm giving the instructions for all the human rights abuses to be documented. I'm giving it to the national government and I'm giving it to the UN, President. Now you know time more because you may try and talk, and we don't seem to be having a decent interaction with other people. And therefore, I think those really nasty human rights abuse stories, you may know a choice. You may must carry them out. Now you may talk about something, I come up, Lord, Mama, susablo mi playa. What if it happened to your mother and your sisters? Pasin block sim man mi life yet na trauma mem lo helicopter go down time mi life yet. Do you want us to tell these stories in order for you to believe? You like ring fence him, you told him you like ring fence him issue blo Bougainville. Remember blo not he ask him pin issue bla. Talking me one and not province. You been got crisis na 20,000 man Mary die. Now you blockade him lo 10 years. Madam Speaker, my apologies for digressing. The Bougainville Court Bill 2024 and the Bougainville Community Court Bill 2024 focus on the establishment of justice functions and services for transition purposes with detailed operational matters to be covered in additional regulations and rules of the court. The Bougainville Court Bill 2024, this Bougainville Court Bill 2024 is intended to establish the Bougainville Court, a new court for Bougainville with similar jurisdiction to that of the district court under national law. The power to establish the Bougainville Court arises from the Bougainville Peace Agreement, Bougainville Constitution Part 14 of the Constitution of Papua New Guinea. The new court will serve as a transitional first step for the independent Bougainville justice sector, pending the report of the Bougainville Constitutional Planning Commission. The Bougainville Court will form an integral system of justice along with the Bougainville Community Courts to be established under the separate Bougainville Community Courts Bill. The bill aims to provide an intermediate court in Bougainville with jurisdiction similar to that conferred on magistrates under national law, including while sitting as the district court, juvenile court, family court, local land court, provincial land court, and coroner, as authorized by Section 126(1) subsection A of the Bougainville Constitution. The Bougainville Court will apply national laws relevant to each division until those laws are replaced with the Bougainville laws. The Bougainville Court will replace the district court and the local land court in Bougainville. This means that the District Courts Act 1963 and the Land Dispute Settlement Act 1975 will no longer apply in Bougainville. The Bougainville Court will consist of a principal judge and Bougainville Court judges with court registries situated in North, Central, and South Bougainville. The Bougainville Court will have 6 divisions: administrative, coronial, criminal, family, land, and miscellaneous civil. The court will sit with land mediators in the land division and can be assisted by traditional chiefs and leaders as assessors in appropriate cases. The bill provides that the principal judge has primary responsibility for the administration of the Bougainville Court. The principal judge must provide an annual report to the Bougainville Executive Council about the operations of the Bougainville Court, and that the report must be tabled in the House of Representatives. The principal judge will determine the place and sittings of the court, make arrangements as to the judge or land mediators to sit in particular matters, and assign cases. The body responsible for the appointment, suspension, and removal of principal judges and other Bougainville judges, the Bougainville Judicial Appointments Committee and Bougainville Senior Appointments Committee. The positions of principal judge of the Bougainville Court and Bougainville Court judges, including the transition of the principal judge when the office of the head of other Bougainville courts is established under the Bougainville Court. The principal judge will hold the constitutional office of head of other Bougainville courts when established under Section 127 of the Bougainville Constitution. A member of a relevant PNG court may act as a Bougainville Court judge by agreement between the head of the relevant PNG court and the principal judge. The Secretary for Justice is responsible for providing administrative support for the operations of the Bougainville Court, including managing the budget appropriate for the court. The judicial independence of the Bougainville Court is guaranteed under both the Bougainville Constitution and the bill. Overall, the Bougainville Court Bill aims to provide updated modern court procedures aimed at simplifying legal proceedings and increasing access to justice for ordinary Bougainvilleans. The Bougainville Court will, however, continue to apply the practice and procedure of the criminal court of the district court in criminal proceedings until replaced by a new Bougainville law or rules of the court. The bill balances the need for continuity and stability in court services with reform and establishment of a new court and community justice model under Bougainville control. Madam Speaker, the other commentaries I'll reserve for the Bougainville Community Courts Bill. Thank you.